Hello. Today, early start of the weekend at the barbecue zone. We got, and you know what? I'm gonna be really honest. This is a sign that my sister had for the barbecue zone, and I don't consider myself a professional barbecue by any means. I just started 2 years ago, through 3.5 years ago, with the smoker about a year ago. But this isn't a smoker. This is a. Today in the barbecue zone, we got some. Let's check it out. Got some lamb, and some beef. The funny thing about this piece of beef, I went to Sprouts. I usually don't get my meat at these bougie places, but I want to get lamb today, so I got lamb. I think that's a lamb shoulder cut, right in this right here, and this is a some beef. The thing is with the beef, I looks like to me it was an expensive piece of beef. It looked like a tri-tip to me, but I'm not sure what's cut of meat that beef is, but it's like 28 bucks. So I was like, oh man, I gotta be careful how I cook this thing. So I did as I usually do, get my plum wood, and I recommend plum wood, a fruit wood. The only reason I recommend, use what you got. I had a plum tree that fell down years ago that my grandfather planted, probably about 40 years ago. Part of it fell down, so I've been harvesting it and using it. I like fruit wood just because it has a sweet taste for the meat. Definitely do never ever barbecue using pine wood, or a couple weeks ago I tested out. Do never ever use palm trees. Palm trees will give a rancid taste to the meat, whatever kind of meat. But this looks like a tri-tip to me, but I'm not sure. I know it's some expensive beef. I usually don't go for expensive beef, but I was over at the store and I said I wanted some lamb. So what I did was put it directly on the fire, let it burn up for a little bit, have a little bit of sear, a little bit of char on it. And then what I did was I took it, put it indirect, and I lowered the heat. And and then what I also did with that was occasionally what I'll do, I have my marinade, my seasonings. From marinade, I'll put basil, thyme, uh, what else is it called? Black pepper. I didn't put any soy sauce. Sometimes I'll put soy sauce. I didn't put any honey, but what I'll do is, and I'll get some other seasons, rosemary, and I think there was one more, oregano. I'm not, no, it wasn't oregano. What I'll do is I'll dip it a couple times in the meat as I go, and some people consider, they get worried about cross contamination and say, oh, you soak your meat, you don't want to double dip in there, and that's raw meat juice you're putting in there back and forth. But what I do is, I get very careful with that, and definitely I don't do that with chicken or pork. But with beef, I think I'm okay. With lamb, I think I'm okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this uh, stay on the top grill. And what I also got, that's a little piece right there. That's garlic clove. There's some garlic cloves I had left over. I'm trying to figure out what else I put inside the marinade. But I marinade, soaked it for about 45 minutes before I put it on the grill. And this is, like I said, this is a plum wood. I want to get if I can find a cherry tree, harvest that and use that for my fire source. But I'm gonna let that cook up. I'm gonna turn the lamb over probably pretty soon. It's really, with barbecue, you don't have to. I've kind of learning that you don't have to flip it all the time. You don't have to always flip. That's what I used to do when I used to grill, because for years I used to just grill. And what I would suggest is that you don't really need to flip the meat all the time. It depends on what type of meat you have. If you have beef, you have pork, you have chicken. And a lot of people don't like it that I do like to parboil my chicken and my pork a lot of times. That's what I did the last time with the pork riblets and the chicken. But this is going to be basically, we'll play it by ear, see how it goes. I like to have medium well for my barbecue. I used to have it well done, then it got to me a little bit, then I said, you know what, just have it medium. So I'm gonna let this heat up on let the smoke cook the meat for a little bit, and then we'll check it out. And I don't know if I'm doing a part 2 of this, but I'll probably just eat it. You guys have a good weekend, and remember, take care at the barbecue zone.